Welcome back to another math lesson. Just like the past few lessons, we're going to go ahead and start with a little daily dose of algebra, a little review here. And just like the last couple lessons, we're given a table. You got to be able to tell me which equation matches the data from this given table. So A, B, C, or D, go ahead and pause the video, try this on your own. In 1 second, we will go over it together. All right, so hopefully you pause it, try it on your own. When I'm looking at this data set, yesterday's was like, what do we do to the left side to equal the right side? What do we do to the x to equal the y? In this case, it's what are we doing to the top to equal the bottom? So the top variable is represented by the variable d, which is the days, and the bottom is represented by r, which is the total rainfall. So we are doing something, multiplying something by d to equal r. In this case, it's going to be 6.5. If you didn't know this, you can just take this number, do 26 divided by 4, you get 6.5. You can do 52 divided by 8. You also get 6.5 again. So each one is going to be multiplied by 6.5. So we're multiplying the number of days, which is d, times 6.5 equals the total rainfall, which is r. So d times 6.5 equals r. Could also be written as 6.5 d equals r. Or if you rearrange it, the r equals 6.5 d. Now that's the way I would do it. It's a little quicker, but if you are more comfortable with just plugging in the values, feel free to do that. If we plug in, the top row is going to get plugged in for all the d values, the bottom is going to get plugged in for all the r values. So here, A is the trap answer. If you plug in 4 for d, 4 equals 6.5 r, which is 6.5 times r. We know that 6.5 times 26 is not 4. However, if you plugged it in over here, r using the same numbers, r is 26, d is going to be 4, so 6.5 times 4. This one definitely makes more sense. 6.5 times 4 is 26. And this would work for each set of values that you plug in. All right. Moving on to the more complex box and whisker stuff. We've talked about box and whisker before when there's always an odd number of values. Today we're going to get into when there's an even number of values. Now, how we explain this, if you have one hand, you know you got 5 fingers on one hand. 5 is an odd number. When you have an odd number, there's just going to be one easy middle number to pick out. So if you think about your hand, you know you got that one middle number on your hand. Just one of them there. Now if you bring in 2 hands, you now have 10 fingers. 10 is an even number. If we cross out, remember, cross out far left, far right, far left, far right. When you start crossing them out, you're going to have 2 middle numbers there. That's what we're getting into today. So when there's an even amount, there's going to be 2 middle numbers. When there's an odd amount, there's just that one middle number. There's an even amount, there's going to be 2, and it's going to require like one extra step to that. So when I'm looking at this box and whisker up here, we count the number of values. There are 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the first thing we got to do is order it from least to greatest. So the smallest number up here is going to be 10. And as I cross them out as I go, then 12, and then 14, 15, 20, 24, 26, 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make sure that you write down all of them. If you don't have all 8 written down, there's literally no way you can get these problems correct. Now, when I cross these out, far left, far right, far left, far right, excuse me, did that backwards. There are 2 middle numbers. Here are the 2 middle numbers. Now, pay attention how I do this, because this gets kind of hairy. Our 2 middle numbers is 15 and 20. Our median is going to be somewhere in between those. So, median has to be right in between those. So in order to find that, we've already done this with like the IQRs before, Q1 and Q3. Not IQR, the upper quartile and lower quartile, excuse me. Same thing here. You have to add them up and then divide by 2. Well, 15 plus 20 is 35. And you do 35 divided by 2, and that gives you 17.5. Which makes sense because remember, median is the middle number. What is in the middle of 15 and 20? Well, they're 5 units apart. Half of 5 is 2.5. So the median has to be 2.5 or 2.5 units away from both 15 and 20. So that gives us 17.5. So our median is 17.5. That's where that line in that box is going to be above. Now, notice when we split this in half. 17.5 is our median. Even though it's not given to us in the data set, it's still going to be our median. Now, once you split this, this is our lower half, this is our upper half. So 15 is included over here. In the past, the median wasn't included because it just split it right down the middle. But when there's two numbers, it has to be included in the lower half and the upper half. So 15 is the lower half, 20 is the upper half. So median, so far we have is 17.5. Minimum and max you can go ahead and knock out. Those are the easiest. Minimum, our smallest number is 10. Max, our biggest number is 28. Now for Q1 and Q3 is going to take a little more work. Q1 and Q3. Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers over here. The two middle numbers in the lower half is 12 and 14. Remember, same thing that we've been doing. Add them up, divide by 2. 12 plus 14 is 26. 26 divided by 2 is 13. Or just think about it. What number is in the middle of 12 and 14? That's obviously going to be 13. Over here we have 20, 24, 26, 28. The two middle numbers is 24 and 26. Add those together. 24 plus 26 is 50. 50 divided by 2 is 25. Or just think what's in the middle of 24 and 26. We get 25. Once we have this data set, we are good to go in order to construct this box and whisker. So drawing the minimum, that's going to be above the number 10. And then the whisker is going to connect to where the box starts at Q1, which is 13. And then the median, the middle number of the box, is going to be 17.5. The box will then end at Q3, which is 25. And then the highest value in the data set, the max, is going to be 28. So that is how we do it when there's an even number of values. It's a little easier to do when there's an odd number of values, but they like to try and give you an even number of values to add that one extra step. This step right here. Remember, when you split it up, don't forget to include the two numbers that you split up in the upper half and the lower half. So again, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers. And we know that 10 is going to be an even number, so there's going to be two middle numbers here. So I'm looking at this, looking at these. I know 6 and 8 are the two middle numbers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. So 6 and 8 are the two middle numbers. So we're going to add these together and then divide by 2. 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 divided by 2 gives us 7. Sounds a little easier to think about because you can think about what's in the middle of 6 and 8. Obviously going to be 7. So now the 6 is the lower half. The 8 is the upper half. This one's a little easier because now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values here. So that middle number is going to be that 4 right there. That means there's also 5 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Meaning that 12 is going to be that middle number. That's Q3. Lower extreme, another term for minimum. That's the 1. Upper extreme, that's the biggest number, is going to be 17. This one is already in order from least to greatest, so it's a little easier. Now when we create this, the median is going to be above a 7. Go ahead and draw your box. Q1 starts, the box starts at 4. The box ends Q3 at 12. The minimum is going to be a 1. The maximum is going to be that 17. So based on this stuff, you should be able to answer this one on your own. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, do this one. That one had 9. Do this one. If you can do this one, you'd be good to go for 2 days' work. So go ahead and pause the video. Try and create or construct a box and whisker plot for this data set. After you are done, go ahead and check your work. We'll go over here in 1 second. All right. So this one's already in order from least to greatest. So like we said before, the hard part's done for us. When I'm looking at this, those are the two middle numbers, 22 and 22. Well, if you do 22 plus 22 and then divide by 2, you're going to get 22. 22 plus 22 is 44, divided by 2 is 22, because there is no number in the middle of 22 and 22, it's just itself. So the median is going to be 22 and 22. However, when we split this up, This 22 is now the lower half, that 22 is now the upper half. So we got to include both of those. So now finding Q1, those are the two middle numbers. You add those up, divide by 2. 12 plus 18 is 30. 30 divided by 2 is 15. And it makes sense because 15 is right in the middle of 12 and 18. So that's Q1. That's where our box is going to begin. Over here, the two middle numbers is 24 and 28. 24 plus 28 is 52. 52 divided by 2 is 26. Makes sense because 26 is right in the middle of both 24 and 28. And then lower and upper extreme, minimum, maximum, that's the easiest part. We got 10, the smallest number, 31, that's the biggest number. Once you got those 5 numbers, go ahead, good to go to create a box and whisker plot. I would start with the median. That's the line going to be in the box. Quartile 1 is where the box begins. Quartile 3 is where that box ends. That is the box. And then lower extreme, so 10, the upper extreme, 31. Your box should look pretty similar to that right there.